Hi, my name is Allie,
My name is Leah.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Josh.
and today we're going to be talking about Squid Game. So you guys have all watched Squid Game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You haven't?
No, I've not actually watched it at all.
That's interesting. So we get an outside perspective on this.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, for Leo, Andrew, you both watched it. So, the intro, what did you think of, like, the initial characterization?
I mean, I thought it was a good plot because at first he was living in his grandparents' house, living off their money. And when, someone just comes up and is like, hey, you want to make a lot of money just at a train station. So I thought the intro was very nice and how it built up to how he got to play the Squid Games. So
I thought it was hilarious how, since he didn't have the money to pay him, he just got slapped the whole time.
Yeah.
He got slapped 200,000 times and then, finally got that one.
Yeah, and in the beginning, it was interesting. You could see his relationship with others, how, he would be, taking advantage of his mother, how his daughter was constantly disappointed in him.
Yeah.
And then he goes into this, the roles are completely reversed. He doesn't know what he's getting into, but he goes, and, well, he never started as a perfect character, but it definitely just went downhill for him from there. What do you think?
Well, I don't think, he wasn't set up, as to be a perfect character. I don't think, anyone there was meant to, be, on top. I think they were all supposed to be, lower class to be, okay,
almost desperate for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not almost, but they were.
Yeah.
They were
And,
pretty much desperate, yeah.
Even, the character flaws, apart from needing the money, make them more relatable as characters.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, all I know is just some I would say it's kind of like a parody Squid Game or parody one of those game shows, where poor people will be on the game show and they will have to win to get money and stuff. I mean,
I've actually
Yeah.
seen a couple
Yeah.
Netflix shows where it's poor people will do something entertaining for rich people to watch because they'll pay
yeah, that's
well, to them it's a
yeah.
little bit of money, but to them it's a lot.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
but
what I was
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
the difference with Squid Game, though, they didn't come into this knowing that they were going to die. They thought, oh, okay, I didn't win the money, whatever, I'll just go back. But they didn't know it was life or death. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
to be honest, they were the whole entire thing. The guy was hiring people. The main character is kind of sketchy. So I mean, anybody would of course think that something is not right here. So
Yeah, and just so you know, after, a lot of death happened, they voted to leave, and they came back because they all
They
needed the money.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you think about that with, some perspective?
well, I would say that even though the fear of death is very high, but after they left the game, they're being thrown back into their whole lives, and I think risk of dying is pushed aside.
Oh yeah, overlook the fact that
overlook the
whatever,
fact.
even if
Yeah,
I
they're-
die, I got nothing to lose.
They realized
Yeah.
that when they came back to normal life out of the game, they're like, all right, well now life is back to normal.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
kind of pointless. I
They-
need to, we might as well. You know what? So
they
they
have
kind of just
nothing
forgot
to
about
lose
it.
and everything
Yeah.
to gain.
How'd you guys feel about that glass bridge part where they had to
Oh.
hop? Dude, that was
The movie's very suspenseful.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with each different character from Squid Game, right? You're who's in it, and all of a sudden your character will die. And of course you have the main character where the story is based off.
yeah.
But people he meets in the games that will eventually have to die.
Yeah, and his
all that
friend
crap.
that he had
Yeah.
to kill at the end.
Yeah.
that
And,
was, that was
this,
trashy.
moves really well into our next point, how effective it was at being a psychological thriller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. They had everyone.
character-wise.
Oh, it kind of reminded me of Money Heist, how they were all dressed in red and with the
Mhm.
mask.
Yeah.
Definitely gave me a Money Heist.
And
vibe at first.
everything was geometric, everything was perfect,
Yeah.
other than the people that were playing. So even just looking at a still picture, you'd know exactly what was going on. And the cinematography for it was almost masterful in the way
I
that
kind of found it crazy how the workers didn't know each other at all. They couldn't ID.
Yeah, they
themselves,
couldn't.
at
Yeah,
all.
because
Yeah.
they couldn't take off their mask, and when they did, remember the one guy who was doing I think it was the sugar thing where they had to do
Yeah.
the shapes. pointed
guy
the gun
held
to the
the
guy
gun
and was
on him,
like,
took him-
show yourself, right?
Yeah.
He pointed, he took his mask off, and like the main guy, right, just shot and killed the worker. I mean, like, you cannot show your face. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of crazy too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like
it is kind of weird, like how you're supposed to know your coworkers and stuff. I find it like a little bit weird how they're not supposed to like take off the mask and yet they're supposed to work with each other, like to cooperate with each other. It is yeah, I do find it very weird.
yeah, it was very dystopian. Like when you find out it's not only the people competing getting injured and killed, it's also the people running it. That just adds to the stakes. And like, no, these people aren't working together. They're merciless and they will do anything for it to work the way they want it to.
Of course.
Yeah, I think the movie does really good with the psychological aspect, because you know that the workers were killing people and they probably knew they were killing people, and you know, it almost looked like they were brainwashed, which basically they were, because they knew it was life or death for them too, if they were to just like, you know, not follow directions. But even with like the actual contestants, they really wanted the money so bad, so they ended up killing each other when they were going to sleep. So they were trying to like go against each other, not even playing the game. When they were going to sleep, just attacking each other, and it kind of just turned into chaos, and like everyone was kind of losing their minds. And I think Squid Game actually did a really good job like portraying that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it really like
Definitely.
speaks on the state of desperation and just like how we can see that in other works of literature.
Okay, Squid Game has like a lot of similarities to this one book I read when I was a junior called Lord of the Flies. Have any of you read it?
I haven't yet.
I haven't either, no.
Oh, just to give you some context, basically Lord of the Flies is a bunch of like British kids crash into an island and they have to like fight nature just to survive. And over time, one of the antagonists, I think his name was Jack. Yeah, his name was Jack, and he kind of like manipulates other people like to do his bidding, and he's kind of like psychotic because he wants people to listen to what he says. Anybody else who doesn't want to listen to him, like he kills them and he condemns them for like, you know, not following under his rule or something like that.
That kind of reminds me of like the guy running it.
Yeah. Even
And-
with the one contestant where he was trying to get everyone on his side, you know, he was trying to like have the power and all that, and he's the one who ended up going around killing people. It's like people were just fighting for power at that point.
Yeah, and that's just like a common theme in everything, and probably why it translated so well, even across language barriers, even with or without subtitles. You knew what was going on, you felt what the characters felt. So I've honestly never seen another show just transcend barriers the way that Squid Game has.
Yeah, how like this type of show managed to have like a huge audience than any other show on Netflix. It's still kind of bizarre, right?
Yeah, I mean, it used thriller like we were talking about before. The thriller in the show really kind of attracted a lot of people in the audience.
Yeah, it's even like become like a phenomena among kids. Like red light, green light is now called Squid Game. Like
Really?
That scene
Yeah.
scared me. I gotta say that
Yeah.
big baby, I did not.
Oh
no,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Could not go to sleep out here now.
The music too adds a lot of suspense to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's more of like a creepy, sketchy vibe to it, and then you like really see like, okay, so it's just rich people watching people die for entertainment.
Yeah, and it was just so like organized and structured, and when one thing was off, you knew that something was going to happen, because subconsciously your brain is noticing like, okay, everything is perfect, everything is going this way, and it's so perfect that it's disconcerting, but as soon as something is off, the cinematography makes sure you know that without knowing it.
Exactly. So it almost leaves you like kind of foreshadowing what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, because like everything like symmetrical. Like my freshman year I took a film class and it really touched on lighting and the rule of thirds. So
Yeah.
like imagine like the screen is crossed off into a grid. If you just imagine any scene where like things are in order and controlled, everything is fitting into those boxes perfectly. Everything is on the eye line. No upper or lower angles. But when it's tilted or when there's a decrease in lighting in one of the corners, something bad is about to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think like it does like a good job, you know, like foreshadowing, you know, making the audience think like oh, what game is going to be next? What is going to happen next to the main characters and stuff?
Yeah, and it definitely keeps that progression going, almost unlike anything else.
I was rooting for that one girl that made it to like the top 3, but then died. In
Yeah.
her sleep. Yeah, I really thought she
Yeah.
was gonna win it.
Unbelievable.
For her little brother. And then didn't like the one guy who won like give back to her little brother.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because with the relatability and similarity of the characters to the characters we know and love and ourselves, like the show just hits home for a lot of people. And not in a way that, like, you can directly relate to what the characters are going through. It's just that you know, and you're terrified.
Yeah, that's kind of like the basis on a lot of good shows is terror. Not like terror, but like, you know, you might fall in love with a character and something bad might happen to them, and that leaves you with this, you know, sense of like not uncomfortableness, but you're like on the edge of your seat almost,
like,
and that's
yeah.
kind of what,
Yeah.
that's kind
The
of what Squid Game.
anticipation.
Yep, exactly. So I think Squid Game also does a really good job with that because, like I said, you like meet all these different characters. You meet the main character, of course, but all these other characters come into play, and you might just fall in love with one, and of course, you know, a lot of them die. So it kind of leaves you on the edge of your seat.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones. Like you,
Yep.
you favor one character and then he or she dies.
Yeah. So after hearing all this, do you think you're going to watch it?
If I had the time, yeah, I will.
You should definitely.
Yeah, it's very good. I'd give
Yeah.
it like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
solid
I
9 out
definitely
of 10.
recommend this show to anyone who A, has the time, and B, loves psychological horror.